It is the biggest coal mine in the whole of... Well, the coronation of the new Oni is a watershed in the history of the Yoruba land generally, and Ife in particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will... Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes. If something differently will be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed. The people that attend the church here can tell you.
Service in Holy Rosa is indeed.
We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Keso.
In my travels across this country, I have come across some epic environments that have value in beauty and are significant for the survival of the people. Coming into contact with them is a function of that relentless will to link up with the societies with a rare story to tell. I went to Kwara State to follow on a story of a disabled group who find new lives through a special federal intervention. Prior to the intervention, they were a group in this area without definite means of livelihood. They got a federal grant and started life as cassava processors, and what a life it turned out to be for them. They don't handle the machine themselves. They employ community members to do it for them. Over the last 2 years, their economic status has improved significantly.
Before we heard about the program, though things were not easy with us. No job, no work, nothing. We find it difficult even to feed.
It is actually on our journey back that we had our first phenomenal sighting. It was in Jeba and the effect of River Niger. The sight of River Niger slicing through Jeba is a gripping spectacle. It is a stop for the postage stamp. Personally, I could pay to have a view of this environment, how it practically skewed Jeba into 3 distinct settlements. The people fish here and do their travels all year round. From another perspective, the trajectory of the river through the foot of an extensive mountain is just breathtaking. Generally, the river around Jeba's Rokainji is classified as national asset and is under heavy surveillance and protection. Kayenjo Hydroelectric Power Station is not far away from Jeba, and around the Jeba area is a dam which serves as a source of water supply and irrigation to over 30 contiguous communities. Indeed, the added beauty of this landscape is the federal construction of the state-of-the-art bridges to allow for free flow of traffic. Jeba is a window to the south and to the north. It has for long been a major transit point for motorists going either side of the divide. Jeba is also home to the graveside of Mongo Park. Generally, Jeba is a rare tourism site that not many Nigerians know it exists. River Niger is actually nomadic. If you travel across Nigeria, you routinely come across it in amazing landscapes. This is another of its trajectory in Kogi State, as it heads southeast to the Atlantic. Here, the waters is a fusion of River Benue and River Niger. It is called River Niger nonetheless. As it was in the case of Java, it was the case here in Niger Bridge in Kogi State too. The bridge links north to all of Kogi East and all of Southeast and South-South. The federal effort to construct quality bridge over the Eternal River here does not only accentuated the landscape, but also created a picture of beauty and joy that can attract tourists. The water here is a highway to littoral communities. Most equipment of Ajakuta steel are actually transported across this water highway. Apart from navigation, it allows for irrigation activities and fishing as well. River Niger is significantly a Nigerian icon, and anywhere it passes through across Nigeria, it leaves behind immense possibilities of water travels, irrigation, fishing, and perspectives of elegance and beauty. Where we stood while taking these pictures in this bridge was a colony of weaver birds. They have been noisy and restless all through our walk, as they move in and out of their nesting areas with the abandon. The last time I went to Zamfara State was to do a story on some 60 banditry orphan children who in a remarkable turn of events are having a new lease of life.
It all started when we started having challenges of insecurity and having children who are orphaned by the security issue. And we were able to come together with 4 of us as partners. We have the Emirate Council, we have the local government, we have the Save Our Soul, which is an NGO, and we have Free, which is a charity or an NGO itself, which is spearheaded by some of our brothers who are from the state living in the UK. So the 4 of us came and sought for a solution or some intervention in even in a small way that we could elevate children who have been orphaned. So as God will have it, we came together, we sought for various options of where they will stay, what they will do, what programs will be mapped out.
These children are kept in one place and are given regimental lessons in science and training their mind to innovation and skills development. For the 2 years they are here, their progress has been outlandish. Ubaidillah had seen both of his parents killed in a remote village in Bungudu local government area by bandits. He has never known anywhere other than his village, and he could not even trace where his village is now. So when he was brought here, he naturally does not know what automatic teller machine is. His teachers explained it to him, and when they came to Abuja for an exhibition, ATM was shown to him in real life. Today, Ubaidillah have his own functional ATM machine, and it is dispensing money.
I started with carton, then later I changed it to aluminum. I used the locally sourced materials, which is an motor, battery, and other materials.
Another of these children produced a solar-powered fan that really works. As a matter of fact, there have been displays of what these open children do exceptionally. As we moved out of Bungudu to Gusau on our way to Abuja, we ran into yet another unique environment that is virtually the symbol of Zamfara State. It is Dutsen Kwatarkwashi, an extensive mountain chain that has been supporting life for centuries. It is a conspicuous and intimidating presence for anybody coming to Gusau Road from Daria. Tons of communities found settlements on its foot. Its peak has been supporting settlements and livelihoods too. Scholars say internecine walls were put on the mountain tops during especially the Hausa wars of the 18th and 19th centuries. It has seen migrations of people from across all of Hausaland and beyond too. The scholars speak of evidences of these upheavals and movements at the mountain tops. Evidently, however, the mountains still support lives on a large scale. Unlike the other environments, It is a real tourism site and a rich story to be unearthed. In Taraba State, there were a community that were said to be recently discovered. In reality, they have a long history of contact with the outside world, but their location is super hard to access. They are the people of Sonkurun Gada in Gada development area. They are mountain dwellers, and even with the magic, you need nothing short of 10 hours to access them from Jalingo, and their distance is not beyond 200 kilometers. We tried to access the area to be witnesses to a foundation school that was built for them by the federal government. We had a fair weather, sailing from Bali going to the next village, where we abandoned the comfort and safety of our vehicles to join motorcycles. You don't access Sonkurungada by motor. Motorcycles are the main source of transportation. To access Sonkurun, you have to cling to a motorcycle for 6 hours through a terrain that is unpredictable. It is not like there is a clear charted route to the area. Motorcyclists rely on their good judgment. The terrain is narrow and jagged. More than that, you can see yourself immediately going downhill under very precarious condition. And by the next minute, you are climbing a steep hill, rocky and rugged. Any misadventure here, a man is doomed. The motorcyclists are a master of the train, however. They keep negotiating the train in high speed like it was an expressway. At many points during the trip, we had to cross rivers. It is part of the challenges of going to Gada, that means Gada Community Development in Taraba State, that you have to cross river. It is a very rugged terrain like I have shown you, but then, obviously, it is more rugged when you know that you have to cross rivers and climb mountains and move almost 300 kilometers. The motorcyclists drive the machine through the waters. The more elderly in our team took to an abandoned craft and had a safe crossover. We negotiated the running water on foot, and because we moved barefooted, the soles of our feet reacted like dozens of radars are cutting through them. We eventually made it to the other side and had time to marvel at the river environment. It was lush and serene, and just a beautiful work of nature. We rejoined our motorcycle and moved on, resolved on accessing Sonkurungada. Eventually we arrived after a 6 hours trip on a motorcycle. We arrived late. The school was not in session, but it was there.
We sustain the structures and we play our part to see that students are committed and the children are committed in the schooling and studies.
You have 6 classrooms, 2 blocks of 33 classrooms each.
Yes,
did that enhance the enrollment of pupils into the school?
Yes, though the enrollment is higher than the classrooms, but this has helped enough for the student to be comfortable.
How many communities are taking advantage of this structure?
We have 6 communities around this area that the children come all over to come and school here.
Only issue now is negotiating that route for another 6 hours on a motorcycle and at night. Sonkurun may have been in the Nigerian map, but it definitely is no place to traverse at will. In Yobe State, in Yusufari local government area, the desert is defining the livelihood of several hundreds of communities. I precisely was in Tulu, and here it is a desert in full color. It took us 6 hours from the local government headquarters of Yusufari to be in Tulu. There is no defined path. We access the area by continually asking the locals on our way. As we moved, we encountered several defining graphics of the desert. Isolated houses, few movements, and the preponderance of acacia trees where vegetations exist. Otherwise, the desert can be threadbare. One of nature's artwork is the evolution of oases in the desert. There are tens of them. We ran into one along the way.
Tulo is unique. It is an area that is covered by desert. And then incidentally, in a desert, you get oases. Now, these oases are source of livelihood to many communities that are living around those areas, especially in the Spari area. Now, you know what? The oases allow them to do their irrigation farming. It allows them to harness potassium in various qualities. Like in this place, you can see the potassium. Then you also have shrubs. Not only shrubs, you also have trees that will grow up that will not only give you shelter, but they also provide you with food, like the date farms we have. But then incidentally, maybe because of climate change, maybe because of the changing in times, many of these oases are drying up. In fact, in the classification of oases, this is a dead oasis. Gone were the time when these oases provide water for the livestock, when the people harness it for their potassium, and when the people use the water inside to do their irrigation farming.
There are actually three kinds of oases, and you can have the perspective of one here. It is cycled by palm vegetation.
Initially, this oasis is an active oasis. You know, oasis classify into three: web, active oasis, semi-active oasis, and dead oasis. The active oasis is the one that possesses all the water inside the oasis, and the water table is very shallow. You can access the water the more you dig small, and people, they are doing irrigations in that oasis. Still, they are assessing or harnessing potash. They can sell it for their livelihood. Also, they can after the irrigation, still during the rainy season, still they embark their selling on rainy, what do you call it?
The
farming system during rainy season. So as the result of this, their economic aspect is promoted. They do get outcome from this oasis. So because of these other encouragements, gradually the fertility and productivity of the soil has been declined. And the yield at the end of their harvest is low. They cannot support them to survive.
Many of the oases are now reminders of what they have been. Even the natural potassium content found in the oases are no longer crisp and marketable. Clearly, however, they are part of the adornment of the desert. We moved to Tulu, where we came face to face with the desert moons. The dwellers of the area have made the desert a highway. They move freely with their motorcycles and ox-driven carts. One of the challenges desert dwellers face in this area is the uncertainty of their future. The desert is closing in on them at a very fast pace, and they have little wisdom in controlling it. The people of Clark Manana, still in Yusupar local government area, are a case in point. They have seen several of their neighboring communities ceding their settlements to the desert, and they face a real threat from it too, due to the same desert encroachment. At a point in their lives, they sought a federal support where they built a shelter belt of neem trees to cover an aggressive flank where the desert was encroaching fast. It worked for them, but the area is in a full desert revolution. They now face a real challenge from other planks.
Well, the people of the community bring me to the eastern border of their town, where the desert is threatening to consume them in a very short period. You can see the proximity between the desert and their settlement. The invasion is real and threatening. They are happy. Yes, those shelter belts has helped in decreasing the movement of the desert. And in fact, there is no threat on their northern border. But truly, from the eastern side, the threat is real.
It is noteworthy that these people are not after school or water supply. Their major challenge is how to stop the desert. I wrapped up my experiences on Nigerian epic environments with the story of Rabiul Ansabo. He retired as a state comptroller of immigration and moved all his family to a Sahelian settlement some 70 kilometers away from the nearest urban center on retirement. Assessing his new settlement can be a trial on man and machine. Our vehicle broke 3 times. One first time we are hooked in a mud. Mercifully, we had to call bulls to pull us out. Incidentally, because of the mass transhumans around this area, you find livestock everywhere. We are using walk bulls to save us from this area. And that's what is going to happen. Sir, you can go in, just drive it, grab out, let's see. Eventually, we arrive at El Sabo's new environment. There are scarcely 10 houses there, and they are all not interconnected. Here, El Sabo built a green wall surrounded by nature. Amazing, you will say, for a man who retired as a self-controller of immigration.
I don't use AC. I don't use fan. It's natural. When you have a habitat like this, you have trees, you have things like gum arabic, even without getting economic benefit from it, then you gain from nature.
One of the wonders of Ansabo is his ability to grow extensive plantation and notice virtually an arid zone.
The Sahelian region is not as poor as that. That is politics. The Sahelian region is one of the best regions because it gives you the best agriculture, more than the forest region. More than the forest region, you know.
Explain yourself.
Yes, because you see, so many people are making mistakes. They think that when there is a lot of rain, then there is production. Then you have a good harvest. That is to us, experienced farmers, it's not like that. Like last year, we had a lot of rain, and we lost a lot. In this farm, I lost over 3 million.
Ansabo is actually a thinker, a philosopher who lives by his book of philosophy. He has reparation ideas about climate change, environmental degradation, and desert encroachment.
Sometimes our own problem is that people think that government, everything is politicized. Government is part of us. Government is part of us. We have to know everybody, the planet, on this planet, everybody is located where God wants him to be located. And when you are located, you will be located with the right paraparania there. And then it is up to you. If you destroy it, then you find problems. If that is what in the developed societies, they always harness these resources. They always make sure they take care of the plants and trees. But the culture is not there.
Climate change affecting the production of
Exactly.
in this place.
Exactly, because the climate change is related, interrelated, interwoven. If we are cutting trees, the climate will be hot, simple and clear. You don't need to be a scientist to know. A layman can know. When you don't have trees here will be hot. And you find it difficult even to sleep in the night. And many other things will come over again, including disease. The trees are contributing a lot. They provide oxygen, the carbon dioxide will go and then refine it and all this. I'm not a scientist, but this is simple. Everywhere, if there is tree, then it means there is protection. Okay.
Ansabo is living his life peacefully here, surrounded by what he cherishes and finds fulfillment in. A significant case study in the immense possibilities Nigerian exotic environments offer.